All right. This story time takes place 4 years ago in August. At the time, I was 14. I'm sorry. Welcome back into the loyalist. I'm Nay, if you don't know. So let's start this story time off on a good note. Hope everybody's having a good day. I need everybody to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn your post notifications on for everyday videos of my life and everyday uploads of gaming, story times, reactions, and in the near future, pranks. Today is the story time. By the title, it says 4 years of sickness. The title is pretty vague.
So, Callow, who's that woman I keep seeing you with on the Nexus?
What? Oh,
But
You're always short of credits
that
after we
is
come back. Is it
the
because of her?
only
it's complicated, Subi.
title that I could think of on the fly. But it fits for my circumstances. It definitely fits. So 4 years ago in August, at the time I was 14, and I was in the 7th grade. I was going to a charter school. We always went back to school early. We always went back to school around August 10th. So on August the 10th,
The discovery of Aya was just what we needed, Ryder. The Angaran scientists have been so generous in sharing their wisdom. It's been amazing.
At least one of
August
the first
10th,
contact situations went well.
I went back to school. I saw
Right.
my friends. Everything was
cat.
fine.
Habitat 7. I'm thankful the Angara were willing
But,
to risk working with us.
I'm afraid not all of them are quite
Before
so
I had went
friendly.
back to school, I
Some
had
give
noticed
trust
that
easily.
it was
From others, you have to earn it.
like some
I'm
red
confident we'll get
dots
there.
on my right leg that were that were hurting, and they were bright red and stuff like that. And I had told my mom, and she just told me to take some Benadryl and take some Tylenol, ibuprofen, which is what I did. And I went on about my week in school. Mind you guys, this is 4 years ago, and I'm 14. I don't know jack. I did not know nothing. Let me go back to, where's August? So yeah, we went back to school. This happened. We went back to school on a Friday, on the 8th. Why? I don't know. Sorry, guys. I was thinking it was the 10th. 2014, the 10th was on a Sunday. Duh. So that following week, it was a full school week. I'm just going by my week. But my legs were still hurting. Okay? My legs are still hurting. For my school, we have to wear uniforms with our school logo on it. So if you didn't have the school logo on it, either you would have to go home, or they would call your parents to bring you some new clothes. So I'm just hurting. Everybody in the administration office knew who I was. So I went to the nurse's office, and she looked at it, and she called my mom and said it was getting a lot worse, and it was getting a lot bigger, which it was. And and it was getting like tightened in my in my pants, and I'm just like, what is going on? So that night I went home. I told my mom, and the next day we went to the hospital that's in the city of where my school was. So we went there. The ER doctor gave me two antibiotics to take. Okay.
I take it you work closely with the Nexus
And
Science team?
so
I try to keep in contact with them. We discuss anything
with
and
those
everything we
two
discover out here.
antibiotics, I took them.
After all, many brains are better than one.
Nothing
Dr.
was really
Aridana is worth 2 or
helping.
3
The
at
pain
least.
wasn't going
I work
away.
best when I have other people to bounce ideas off
Disclaimer.
of.
In 2010, I was hospitalized for a severe asthma attack and also pneumonia at the same time, and I was also in the ICU for 2 weeks. But that's another story time for another day. But here's why I'm putting that in the story time. They had did a test on me 4 years prior, saying that with antibiotics, it takes my immune system and my body to adjust to a lot longer than a normal child or normal adult's body. So we left the ER that day. I didn't go to school. My mom just took me home, and I didn't go to school the rest of that week. So Saturday comes, which is the 16th. I just decided to go, and you know those little pamphlets of things they give you at the hospital when you get discharged. I always read everything they give me. So I go and read it, and it says on the pamphlet, if the antibiotics does not work, you will have to go to the hospital and get an antibiotic IV. So on August the 20th, which is a Wednesday, is exactly what I did. We went to the hospital, me and my mom and my grandmother. We went to the hospital. They took me to the hospital. They gave me an antibiotic IV. I was in the hospital with that for almost a good week. I was in pre-intensive care ICU. I'm there with that. I had to see a PT. I had to do physical therapy because by that time, my legs were even worse. Again, it had started off on the right leg. Now it has transferred over to the left leg. The right leg is swollen. The left leg is swollen some sort of kinda, and it also has the red dots on it. So I get there, they examine it, they have to do, you know how like they put the gel on a pregnant woman's belly to do an ultrasound? They did an ultrasound to see if they could do like release the fluids inside my leg and stuff like that. But they kept me in the hospital for that. I had to see a team of doctors. I had to see an infectious disease doctor. I had to see a kidney doctor. And after they gave me that round of the antibiotic IV, they gave me the pill, which is also an antibiotic. The antibiotic was called clindamycin. You look this medicine up, or you ask your doctor about this medicine. This medicine is not meant for children. when I say this medicine is not meant for children, you have to see a lot of doctors to make sure everything is in order with your body. And mind you, they took me out of school because of with everything that was going on, especially with the medicine that I was on, because how powerful that medicine was. It could have affected my kidneys, my liver, all of it. So I had to see them on a regular basis after I got out of the hospital. Oh, and another disclaimer, yes, before I had told my dermatologist and my surgeon that I was going to the emergency room because they are all connected in one thing. They sent me back to my dermatologist, and he did a biopsy on my leg. My grandmother took me to the dermatologist that day. He did a biopsy on my leg. He took this like a little round thing. He numbed me. How much fluid was in my legs when the nurse had to numb me? My leg kept having fluids gushing out. I know that's a TMI moment, but that's just real life. And I'm like telling my story and you know, just disclaimer, and so nobody else has to go through this. But he did a biopsy just to make sure what it was. And what I had was an infection called erythema nodosum. It's crazy how I can say it. Even my mom cannot say this. She was like erythema nodosum or something like that. I forgot what she be saying, but I still have the scar from my biopsy on my leg. Still to this day, with an infection, from that infection, like I get in the shower, my the swelling had gone down tremendously. I've gotten the normal size of my legs back. I can walk. Oh yeah, and I used when my legs were swollen, I would have to walk with a cane. That was how bad. Like if I like my bed is high. Like I have a high bed. So anytime I had to get up, I would try to get up. Like all of those fluids of me elevating my lid on I'm getting tongue tied. But me elevating my legs on pillows and stuff, when I would swing my legs to the side of the bed to try to get up and go to the restroom or just to try to walk around to get circulation in my legs from not just laying on bed all day, that stuff really stung. Like it really stings. When I say it stings, it stings. Like all the fluids come rushing down. Like it's a lot of like, for instance, if you're doing a headstand and all the blood goes rushing down in your head, that's how it really felt. But like 10 times worse. So still to this day, I still have minor pains from it. Like when I get in the shower, when I try to take a shower and the water hits my shins, I still have pain on my shins and stuff like that. And I pray that it's not the infection coming back. That like that's one of my worries with that and stuff. They said I would have pain from it here and there, but it really hurts when you get in the shower and the water hits it. So anybody who's suffering from that, just a disclaimer, you're not alone. I'm here with you. And if anybody ever have questions about this disease, you can hit me up on my social media accounts, which is in the description, or on my business email, which is also in the description down below. Let's get to the other half of the story. So, um, the other half of the story, I was seeing my mother and my doctors wanted to see if I could go back to school. I wake up one morning around 5:45 like I normally do to see what time it was and to see if it was time for me to get up. I wake up, I look at the clock. How my room was set up. My bed was against the window, and my tall dresser was right next to my bed, and so was my TV and my cable box. And my cable box at the time was Suddenlink, and it had the time on it. So I was reading the time, and my hands were gripping the covers really, really tight, right to the point I could not let go, and it was not myself. And also, my heart was beating really, really, really mind, and my eyes was blurry, and I couldn't see. I couldn't let the covers go. My heart is racing. I'm just like, what's going on? And I'm thinking in my head, I couldn't talk either. So finally, when it let go of my hand, when my hands finally could let go of the covers, I sat there for a good 5 minutes and make sure it wasn't going to come back. But at the time, my my left hand moves and it starts like some people get anxiety and they start tapping their hand on their leg. My hand started tapping on my heart like repeatedly, like but extremely fast, and I could not stop it. So I finally, because I was crying and I didn't know what to do, so I finally got up. I turned on the hallway light. I went in my mom's room and I woke her up. I said, "Mom, I don't know what's going on. I feel weird." And she see me and I'm shaking and I'm crying and my hand is just going and my heart is just racing and I could not stop for nothing. And it's early in the morning, and also my dad was just about to get off work. Me and my mom was going to go and sit in the parking lot and wait for him to get off work. But we said no, we was going to wait for him to come home so he could bring the car home. My mom, it was tough for my mom to get me in the car because I was shaking really bad and my heart was racing. I couldn't barely get on my clothes. It was just tough. So, well, I'm in the car. My mom tells when my dad pulls up that we need to take Nate to the hospital. He said, "What's going on?" He says, my mom tells him that something's not right. We're on our way to the hospital. I'm still just, my heart's just racing. My hands are gripping the back of the passenger seat where my dad is sitting, and he feels me gripping it, and I could not let go. And I know this is another TMI moment. On the way to the hospital, we go to a Trader's hospital, which is like an hour away from us, which is also the hospital that I went to for the infection. I when my mom had to pull over because I got sick, and I just got sick out of nowhere. Mind you, I had just woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I hadn't eaten nothing. My stomach is on sub-zero. I hadn't had no water, no crackers, no nothing in my system. So I just got sick out of nowhere. I had got sick at the house. So it's just like, what's going on? When we get to the hospital, they rush me to the back, and the doctors come in, and at this point, I'm having a full blown out seizure, and my mom and my dad and the doctors had to hold me down because I couldn't. It just wouldn't stop. And again, I'm 14. I don't know what's going on, but how I was looking when I was at home, it looked like I had a stroke. Me and my mom know the signs of stroke because my dad in 2010 had a miniature stroke. So that's what it looked like at the time. My face was slumped. I could barely form a smile or hold my hands up. They get me there. They do blood work. The nurses could barely get the IV down. They had to hold my arm down because I kept shaking. And they give me a medicine. The medicine starts out making me laugh. After that, I do not remember how the medicine. You know how some medicines the hospital give you, like anesthesia, like not like anesthesia, but some medicines they give you, it makes you laugh. This particular medicine, I don't remember what it is, but my mom probably do. This medicine made me laugh. I'm just full blown out, just laughing, and my dad's laughing with me because it was funny. And after that, I was out like a light. I woke up. I woke up a few times, but I'm telling you, I do not remember nothing. I don't even. My mom. To this day, I can't tell you who was in the room with me. I can't tell you when. Uh. When all the doctors came in. None of it. All I remember was waking up to a nurse putting the EKG on my head. That was it. I don't. When I say I remember nothing, guys, after that point, I remember nothing. Nothing. My mom still to this day says, "You don't remember when your grandma came in the room, your aunt, your cousin, your uncles, so none of that?" I remember nothing. I remember this particular time when the specialist was putting the EKG around my head. I woke up, and then you know how the doctors got on their white coats. It just looked like I was like, "Where am I at?" I'm just like, and again, I was out like a light. That medicine had me on my butt. They transferred me from the emergency room to my room. They have me hooked up. I was on this EKG for literally, guys. You're supposed to be, when they're monitoring your brain functions to see if anything is going on in your brain, you're supposed to be on an EKG for 24 hours. Right? I was on this thing for literally 20 minutes or less. It was either 20 minutes or 10. It was one of the two. I was not up there for 24 hours. I was not. But that is how many seizures that I was having back to back. They said at the time, 4 years ago, they called it stress from a lot of deaths that had happened in my family, from both sides of the family, and they think it was one of the key main ones they think that had happened was my grandfather on my mother's side, and that was the explanation 4 years ago. This is 4 years later. August has passed. It has been 4 years. I am now 17, almost 18, coming up in January, and they still have no other explanation to explain what is still causing it. They still say that it is stress or depression or anxiety. Now since then, they have put me on on some medicines anxiety, depression. But my condition, they call it conversion disorders. You can very look it up. You look up conversion disorders, you get the shakes from it. You know how like you get the shakes from when you're sick or got a cold and you have to put on a sweatshirt. You get that from just having the conversion disorders, and you just got to go put on a sweatshirt immediately. That's just how it is. Your speech gets slurred. Your what else can I say off back? It's a lot of things. You can look it up. You have to take that stuff very, very seriously, especially if you're in your teenage years. This stuff is very, very real. If you're a teenager, if you're a parent or watching this video, or a teenager watching this video, go show your parents this video. Like I said, if you have more questions about it, I am willing and freely to answer these questions. This, like I said, I have been dealing with this for 4 years. I am still dealing with it currently. This My conversion disorders have been have set me back to the point where I have literally missed school. Like, I have not been back to school for the past 4 years. I can't really go out and be with my friends and do what I really want. I have to get signed off from my doctors to get my permit and license, to get a job, to do all of this stuff. You have to do all of this stuff. You have to go a certain amount of time without having any of they would call it pseudo seizures. some of them some of them will look like real seizures. You have to take, like with me, I'm very impatient. My mom has to sit there and tell me to calm down, wait a second, and let it pass by. And it'll go by, but like for me, my triggers were if I'm hot or that, or if I get upset, and it's very, 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 very rare for me to be upset. But one of the key things for me, for mine to get triggered, is if I'm hot. That may be one of yours, but that is definitely one of mine. What else? Here is a real thing for my teenage young ladies who are coming up who are just teenagers, period. When I was, I would think I was 15, turning 16, I had a benign mass in my right breast that I had to have surgery on and have a biopsy on to make sure that it was nothing serious. How big it was, if I didn't notice that my right breast was hurting and I was in pain and it got a lot bigger, I would have had a lot of more issues and stuff like that. So I really need my young ladies to make sure you check on that stuff every day. And my mom, when I was younger, my mom used to stress as issues. As you get older, when you're a young teenage woman, you will see the importance of your hygiene, of making sure you check your breast for anything that is abnormal there. They say a benign mass is very normal for teenage young women. But yes, make sure you check on that stuff every day. share this video, get this video to 10 likes. Share it, smack that like button, and I'm out. Peace.